Alright.
Hey, what's up guys? As y'all saw in the last video where I left y'all hanging, and then into the intro of this one, we did get the truck started finally. Didn't get it running consistently, but we did get it started. It ran for a little bit. Sorry about the clips. I had the camera positioned in a bad spot because we ended up getting it started by my dad coming over and messing with the throttle body. Just trying to get it to run, you know. So we didn't have the best tune in it. We had something that basically just had everything deleted that we got rid of, and then it some very basic parameters just to, you know, see if it'll actually start. So we were able to get that done, get it to somewhat start. We did find some issues, so we need to go into that. We also need more tuning, obviously, for it to run consistently, but we haven't finished up with the truck either, so we wanted to make sure it was good to go before we, you know, buttoned everything up. One of the issues that we ran into was there was a fuel leak. So there was a fuel leak at the tank. You could see the fuel coming from the side of the tank when you looked under the truck, which kind of sucks. It makes sense because that's where I made my first AN connections ever in my life, were those lines at the top of the tank, or those connection points at the top of the tank. So I can understand it. It's just annoying because now I'm going to have to go and tilt the bed back and see where it's coming from, and then from there fix it. So I'd rather do it now than later, though. I'm glad I caught it now. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go ahead and maybe wrap up the truck in this video. Who knows? We still got quite a bit to do. I'll actually take you all over to the board so you can see what we have left to do. Okay, we're back over at the board, and as you can see, we have pretty much everything knocked out. We got add fluids, so that's a basic. I did put oil in the oil filter on, but I mean, trans fluid, power steering, coolant, definitely need power steering in it. AC lines, not necessary. Rad hoses, we're almost done with that. I found a top radiator hose that will actually work. Windshield washer lines, not a necessity. And torque wheel lugs, because we've been taking them on and off, but we're gonna have to do that anyway because we are doing wheel bearings, so you kind of have to take the wheels off to do the wheel bearings on the front. We also need to fab the intake for the MAF, and we have a filter as well. We are going to make a custom intake for it. That's also one reason why it's probably not running right. We don't have the MAF on, so next time we're gonna actually at least put a pipe on and put the MAF on so we can get a reading on that. And then we need to finish the exhaust. As y'all saw, we have the Y pipe, and then from there we need to get that taken care of. So not too much left on this list. I mean, it's, you know what they say, the last 10% takes 90% of the time. Yeah, we've been on that for a while. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm gonna go ahead and get to raising up that bed. There you go. You can see the leak. It's on the hose connection for the, I believe that's the return, but she is definitely leaking. So I need to see if I can tighten that down and fix that connection. The connection between the male and female side of the AN lines were loose. So I tightened that up because I was like, it's gonna be a lot easier to just tighten it and see if that's the issue first, and it was. So stupid mistake, but I'd rather it be that than having to take the line out and actually put a new end on it or build a new line completely. So I'll show you guys. It builds pressure now, but I could have saved some time if I just tightened it down the first time. So we're here in the truck. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the key, and you should be able to hear the fuel pump. There it went. So if we go back under the bed here and look, there is no more leak. It was pretty easy to see it the first time, but no leak now. I literally just had to tighten the connections right here where it went from the adapter to the line. Dumb mistake, but easy fix. So not leaking. I'm gonna leave it here pressured for a little bit make sure there's no more puddles coming, but it should be good now. It's just a dumb mistake. And in order to see if it's still leaking, I just put a cardboard box down. We'll see if it gets any drips on it or anything. It's pressurized now from when I primed the fuel pump, so we'll see. I shouldn't see anything. I don't see anything leaking now. It would have been leaking already. In the meantime, however, I did somehow miraculously found a radiator hose that looks like it'll work. So you can see I have that end covering and this end covering, and it's actually the right distance apart, 290s. I think I can get this manipulated to how I want so that it'll actually go on nicely. I'm gonna whatever end, I haven't decided which way I'm going with this. I think I'm gonna go this way. Problem is it's gonna come out right in front of the throttle body. That's gonna be the biggest thing, is if I can get this intake to actually work with the hood. I do have a 2-inch cowl hood, but it doesn't go up too much right here at the front of the hood. That 2 inches is in the rear, so we're gonna have to see how that works. But yeah, I'm gonna end up cutting probably an inch off the end here, putting it on here. That way I have clearance between the pulley and this radiator hose, and then have this come up over, hopefully ducking a little. I don't know, we'll see, like I said. So as you can see, it's a Continental hose. It is, I don't know if it's E71981 or 62426, but one of those is the part number for this hose. I picked this up at AutoZone. So I tried getting Gates hose from O'Reilly's, and they just didn't have one, at least at my local O'Reilly's, that was quite this one. I'm sure this is a hose for some common vehicle, and they probably have it in Gates and, you know, whatever your favorite hose brand is, but this is just what I was able to find. So yeah, like I said, I have that lower one on as well. I'm gonna go ahead and try to make this fit. Okay, as y'all can see, I already have the bed back down. Went ahead and put it down. I don't know if I said this before, but there are 8 bolts for the bed. 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. What I do is take the frontmost 6 bolts out and loosen up the back 2, the one on each side. Just get them loose, don't take them out all the way, and then I use the lift to tilt the bed back, and that usually gives me enough clearance to actually do any work on the fuel pump. Now, if you want to take the bed off, obviously you just take those last 2 bolts out, and then you got to unplug the harness for the tail lights and everything. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt the video real quick. I don't mind the webcam footage, it's not great, but just wanted to put a little precursor to the rest of the video. I have not quite put the belt on right on the engine. It's supposed, or the way I have it ran right now is going from the alternator to the tensioner. That is not quite right. It's supposed to actually go down to your main water pump pulley. Don't have it like that, oh well. So everything you see is going to be in relation to how I have that set up currently, and that's what you're going to see. So just going to give you guys the pretense on that now before you go any further into the video. Now we come over here to the front. I have trimmed this radiator hose and got it to where it'll fit. The width is right. I had to trim this side so that it would clear, and it just barely clears that belt and that pulley. I'm thinking I need to do something to where I can get this pushed down, because if you look at it from the front, the throttle body is, well, the intake's going to hit coming from that throttle body. I mean, we're going to have a 90 regardless, but it's going to get in the way. So it's going to have to get pushed down, and if we can have some sort of bracket or something to, you know, hold this down and keep it away. I mean, if we can keep it away, I don't have an issue with it. I think if we have some sort of bracket to keep it down to where, you know, we have room and then keep it away, then I think we'll be good. But until then, I'm gonna take this off because I don't want it to get stuck on there and be difficult to take off later. I use some WD-40 to make it a little easier to put on, especially on this side, because there's not a lot of room at all. Fuel leak taken care of tonight, and have this trimmed down to size. I'm gonna have to, like I said before, figure out what I'm gonna do with this, and then we can start making some more progress. I also need to take this battery out. This is just a battery we had lying around that holds a charge. I need to take that out at some point, put my battery tray in, and then get an actual like battery mint for this truck. And like I said before, I still gotta put fluids in as far as not oil, but everything else. So power steering. Once I figure out this cooling situation, this radiator hose, then I can put coolant in, or at least, you know, start to, because you want to be adding it as the engine's running. I think I said power steering already. I need to put trans fluid in, you know, pretty much all your fluids. So pretty much have everything wrapped up, at least for the night. I'll see you guys the next time I come out and work on the truck. Coming at you with another update. Radiator hose is on. We tried putting a P-clamp here onto the fan to give us some clearance, and it's still very tight. So we have a zip tie here just holding it in, but it is connected. I did get the battery in. You can see it's wet. We filled up the radiator and had it running for a little bit, as you all saw in the last clip. I put you guys at the back end so you can kind of hear what it's like. I still don't have the full exhaust on yet. I don't have the muffler. It just exits out the Y pipe. So it is a lot louder than what it should be. Still not tuned. We just had it where it'll idle so we can maybe get some water going through the thermostat. I was doing some monitoring. I have some issues on the dash. My temp gauge is pinned out, as well as my speed gauge. They're both all the way around and hitting the stop. I have a scanner. I use the scanner. I looked at the live data on it, and it picked up the temperature of the engine, and it also picked up the vehicle speed, which was at 0 because it has just been sitting here. So that's all done correctly. I'm thinking there's something wrong over here in this connector, because this connector is, like I've said previously, that's what feeds all the data into the truck. I also had a code that popped up, and that was determined to be the throttle position sensor. So I took one off another engine and put it on, and the code hasn't come back. I don't know. It was brand new. It came with the throttle body, but I don't know if there was something wrong with that, or maybe that was from previous. I might try the other one later, but anyway, I didn't have the code come back, so I'm not going to mess with it right now. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the update for tonight. I'm out here for another day working on the truck. Like I said before, the radiator hose is going into the belt assembly, the belt drive here. And we can't have that happening. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to create a guard that will come from the alternator bracket down and just over the belt, and hopefully that'll cover it up enough to where we won't have to worry about this. To do this, I'm also going to have to drill and tap a hole into this bracket. That way I can actually have 2 points of contact on here and don't have to worry about it spinning or anything. So that is the plan for now. Got my piece of material cut, as you can see. Have my template done as well, at least for what I'm doing right now. I'm actually going to center this up, make it a little long on either side. I'm going to put this cut in, leave that long, and then I'll probably come out a little bit and make my cuts there. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Alright, I got a bracket on right now, and you can see it comes all the way out to this end. There's room right now for the belt. I did get a shorter belt because, like I said before, I think I've already mentioned this, we are hitting the end of the tensioner pulley. It's bottoming out as the truck's running. So with a shorter belt, that'll raise this pulley up a little because it'll bring it in. And that could cause me some interference here. So before I go any further, I'm going to wait until I get that belt in. I already have it on order. I'm just waiting for it to come in now. And once I have that, I can take this off, put that belt on, re-verify everything, and then continue to move forward. I do plan on trimming all of this down to where it matches the bracket behind it. And I mean, it's not supporting a lot of weight, and so I'm not too worried about just this little area holding it. And then I need to drill a hole into this bracket and drill and tap the bracket behind it. So once that's done, we can take this P-clamp off and hopefully have some room for that. Biggest thing is going to be putting this intake in. So intake needs to come through and then go down, and the filter will be down in this area. But we're really going to be close with touching the hood on that. That's the biggest concern right now. So we will have to figure that out once we get there. Alright guys, I've been working off camera for a little bit. I got my bracket done right here. This bracket is for the belt to protect it from this radiator hose getting in. I have shown previously without this bracket how this bend and radius of the radiator hose kind of wants to interfere with that belt. So made this bracket so that it will protect it from going in. I am using this stock alternator bolt. Well, I say stock, I'm using the alternator bolt mounting location up top, and then I drilled and tapped into the bracket, put another bolt in so that this won't rotate. It's on there really well. The belt can still move up and down quite a bit without hitting, which is good. So that's pretty much done here. All I really need to do is cosmetics. I'm going to end up powder coating it. So the next portion to work on is the intake. I actually started gathering some parts up for that. We know one issue was going to be having this come out and make a sharp turn, because this is where the filter's going. It's going to be 90 pipe, 45 down, MAF, and then directly from the MAF will be the filter. So this radiator hose is kind of in the way. It's going to end up getting pushed down. I have bought a boot for it to come out and do a 90 in a really tight radius, because if you're just using pipe, that'll come out quite a bit. It has a larger radius. So come out, come across, 45 down, like I said, MAF, and then air filter. Really, it's just going to be fabbing that up and getting it together, and then also trying to deal with the hood clearance, making sure that it'll actually fit. So yeah, just got to work on that and continue making progress on the truck. As you guys saw in the last clip, I got the guard on the belt, and I have just worked on the intake a little bit. So comes out of the throttle body with a 90, immediately goes from the 90 into a boot, a reducer. The reducer goes into the MAF sensor back to reducer, and then into the intake, or well, just a 90-degree tubing, and then into the air filter. As you guys know, the air will go in that reverse order: filter, tube, reducer, MAF, up through, it's not really a reducer when it's going the other way, but can't think of the name of it for now, and then into the 90, into the throttle body. You may notice I don't have a clamp here. I don't have a clamp currently to put there, so we're going to leave it as is. Once I get that other clamp on, you guys will see that is pretty much the whole front end complete of this truck in the engine bay anyway. Obviously, I got to put the bumper, grill, headlights, and everything in, but as far as engine components wise, that pretty much wraps it up. I still have some AC work to do, and I do plan on doing that at some point, but not currently. I also we may run into an issue with this intake, because the hood, you know, slopes down with the body lines on the truck. Well, this intake protrudes quite a bit, especially right here where the 90-degree tube is. So I am hoping that doesn't cause any issue with clearances, but that is an area of concern. So I just want to put that out there before, you know, I call this complete. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.